I used to feel like there were never enough hours in the day to get all the things you needed to get done in your business. And I know I'm not alone here, so do me a favor, hit the like button if you can relate, because I can't be alone in this. But at the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024, I was exhausted and probably on the verge of burnout that I knew I needed to make a change in 2024. It all came down to one simple change that completely changed the way I work. And it's not what you think. It's not the Pomodoro effect. It's not a better time management system. It's not time blocking. It's not Asana. And I honestly wished I would have figured this out years ago. And I want to share this with you today because I know this can really help you change the way you work in your business to get time back. So many of us in our business probably feel like Dory, and we just keep swimming, hoping there's a time when we have free time in our life again. And I felt like that for years in my business. It didn't matter how organized I was, how planned out my time was. It just felt like the tasks were always piling up. You know the feeling. You want to do all these things because you know it's going to be great for your business, so you keep adding them to your to-do list, and it just keeps piling on. The problem came down to not how much time I had, it was how I was using it. Now, I know we've all heard the phrase or the saying, work smarter, not harder, and honestly, that seems incredibly vague to me. And I know the saying, but how do I implement that? So I dove into figuring out what are the things I could focus on that would help me reach my goal? And what is my goal? I don't know about you, but I have a business to make money. So my goal is a revenue number. Not only do I have it broken out by the year, but also how much I need to make each month. So what are the most important tasks that I should be doing in my business? The tasks that are going to make me money to hit my monthly revenue goal to help me hit my yearly revenue goal. So let me break an example down. Maybe you have the idea of, I'm gonna create a new lead magnet. And you have no data on this lead magnet. It's just an idea that you had, which us entrepreneurs always have ideas. The ideas are endless, but you have no data on whether your audience wants it, whether it will convert, and you're gonna have to start the entire process from scratch. You're gonna need to create the lead magnet, set up the landing page, create the automations, the email delivery system, like all of that stuff, right? Is that going to be a good use of your time, or taking a lead magnet that you already have and making improvements because you have data on this lead magnet? Maybe you know it's already converting for you at 10 to 15%. It's helping you grow your email list, but maybe it's slowed down a little bit. So instead of starting from scratch, knowing that this has worked, maybe you start testing headlines on the opt-in page. That can help get conversions back up. Or maybe you add a bonus to the opt-in, and this can get the people that have got your opt-in before excited and re-engaged with you. And adding that bonus to the opt-in page could also increase the conversion rates. Now, this funnel is already set up, the landing page is created, the email delivery system is already done. So you're saving yourself a massive amount of time by making these small tweaks instead of deciding to start all over from scratch with something you have no idea how it's going to perform. I'm gonna go on a sidebar here about shiny object syndrome. Yes, I'm guilty of it. Let me know if you are too. Comment shiny objects down below. And I know watching other people on social media and here on YouTube do different fun things gets you excited too. Maybe you want to host a challenge. Maybe you want to host a virtual retreat. Maybe you want to start a podcast, and these all seem really fun and exciting. And from the outside looking in, it looks like it's working for them. But if you want to spend your time on the things that are going to move the needle the most in your business, I've learned this from my coach. It's not always the fun things that are going to make the needle move. It is the monotonous, kind of boring things that are going to make the biggest change. So I myself have to do this as well. I have told Erin, my employee as well, she needs to remind me of this as well. When I have an idea, is this a shiny object or will this help increase my sales? Because I can always put that idea in my idea parking lot, and I've got loads of ideas in my idea parking lot. But what is important for me in the time that I have is to focus on the things I know have worked, how to increase the way it's working, how to send more traffic to it, how to make it better because I already know it works, as opposed to starting from scratch. The same thing with a new launch or a challenge or a virtual summit. Instead of doing something from scratch, start from a baseline of something you already know the data from, because that is going to save you so much time. So I want to share what I did in 2024 to go from doing more to optimizing and getting better results from things that I already had. So maybe this could help you too. So mid 2024, we had just had a launch in May. It went fine. In fact, we hit our goal, but we were still very short on revenue goal for the year, and I was getting worried. I thought maybe I need to create a mini course to kind of get people buying more, to give them an easier purchase, to kind of make that cash flow. Was this new mini course or beginner course going to be the best use of my time? Absolutely not. So instead of creating an entirely new course with new curriculum, new PDFs, new printables, new templates, new sales page, new automations, all of that, I did an email flash sale. I wrote 5 emails. I had ChatGPT help me write them. So it took me about 3 hours to write these 5 promotional emails. I took insight from the open rates and click-through rates from my previous launch to help me improve the subject lines and the click-through rates in the emails. And I created a sweet little promotion that I hadn't offered before, but it didn't involve more of my time. So it wasn't like more one-on-one calls or more trainings from me, because I didn't have the time. This was summer after all. I've got kids at home. I don't have the extra time. And that 5 email sequence that took me about 3 hours of my time generated 13 sales with no ads, totaling about $20,000 generated in July, when generally people aren't buying. We generally hear no buy July. $20,000. In fact, I made more in that flash sale email sequence than I did in my webinar typical standard launch in May. The other thing that I did to save myself time, if you checked out my video from last week on my update on how quitting Instagram was going, I took the time that I was spending on Instagram that was hardly sending me any sales at all, and I pulled the data to prove that it wasn't getting me the sales. And I took that time and focused on improving my lead generation follow-up. I improved and systematized my follow-up process. I improved and streamlined my reach out process. I focused on improving my script when I was reaching out to people, because I was doing voice memo reach out. I tweaked the email funnel follow-up when people buy a low ticket offer from me to improve those click-through rates. And I hardly posted on Instagram at all. The only time I was on Instagram was doing these lead follow-ups with people who had bought products of mine. And then last 3 months of the year, when I quit Instagram and I took that time that I was usually spending on Instagram to improve my lead follow-up, I made 1/3 of my yearly revenue in that 3 months. I mean, more in that last 3 months of 2024 than any other 3-month series the rest of the year. So what does this mean for you, and how can you start taking action on this? Now, I have an entire planning system and a routine that I've taught my clients, and I've taught live as well. It's called my CEO Planning Day. And in this training, I walk through how to look at the metrics, what metrics to look at, how to find it, and how to use that data to determine where your time is best spent. Where are you actually making the money? Where do you need to spend more time to make more money? And it doesn't matter what time of the year it is to go through CEO Planning Day. If you know you need to start working less and working more on the things that are going to generate you more sales, CEO Day is a great training to go through. Because after I show you how to find all these metrics that are going to help you make informed, confident decisions, I'll then walk you through how to create a 90-day plan to follow through on those decisions, so you can start making more revenue in your business. So you can get this training. It's about a 4 to 5 hour training. It's at trenalittle.com/CEO. Not only is there a workbook, there's also a spreadsheet involved as well. So you can grab that at trenalittle.com/CEO. Otherwise, the very first thing that you need to do is figure out what is making you sales. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume there is an amount of money that you would like to make in your business. You are never going to get to that number if you don't focus on the things or the tasks that are helping you make the sale. So for example, when you post on Instagram, do you see sales come in? I know when I post this video on YouTube, I'm gonna see a sale, at least one. If you're not seeing those sales, you're going to need to reallocate the time you are spending on things that aren't making you sales to the things that are. Which means the next thing you need to do is start eliminating low priority tasks. Look, I know we all get tired of our products, and maybe it's even our insecurities that our products or our courses aren't good enough and we need to make them better. But changing the colors or the fonts to your printable, or changing the colors or layout on your website, or completely overhauling and updating a course that's still getting results from your students are not worth your time right now if you're not hitting your revenue goal. These are low priority tasks. So once you figure out what are the things on your to-do list that you're trying to get done that are low priority, eliminate those, then start setting up a workflow to simplify and streamline those revenue generating tasks. For me, at the end of 2024, that was my lead gen follow-up. So when somebody bought a low ticket from me, I had an automated email that asked them to share their Instagram handle or YouTube link. In return, I would give them a free training. Now, when somebody submitted that Instagram handle, I was then alerted that I had a new Instagram handle. I then got on Instagram, followed the script that I wrote because I need to follow a script when I'm doing the voice memo so I can stay on task. I don't need to go out on a tangent or forget what I'm saying. I need to keep it streamlined and simple. Once I do the DM, I then move that lead into the next phase of lead follow-up. And then I'm automatically alerted when it's time to reach out to them if I haven't heard back from them. This makes me way more money than any type of consistency on Reels or Instagram stories has. So here's how you can get started right now, because I know this can seem super overwhelming and where to get started. Start with one task. Look at your to-do list right now. What's one task you think you're spending too much time on that isn't driving results? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to help brainstorm with you to figure out how to shift your focus. Creating content can always be a huge time suck, but it's the lifeblood of our businesses. If we aren't creating content to grow our audience or show our audience we actually know what we're talking about, you're not gonna make sales, plain and simple. I wanna show you how you can plan a week's worth of content in just 30 minutes in my next video. Click here to watch that now.